Hey, alright. Looks like maybe we're live? I think we're live. Welcome, guys. We'll be getting started in a few minutes. Meanwhile, if you're here early, go ahead and enter our giveaway so you don't have to worry about entering it later. And just a heads up, since we are splitting this build up over 3 days in a row, we will be using the same giveaway all 3 days. So if you win tonight, you won't be winning the next couple, but if you enter tonight, you don't have to worry about entering again until we are done with the set. So you win some, you lose some. Hey Aaron, how's it going? I'm glad to hear it. Appreciate you staying up late. I think it must be pretty late over there. At least it's a Friday for you. I'm doing all right. Got a busy weekend ahead of me, hence us doing the stream in the evenings. Plus, it was something I've been toying with the idea of doing this for a little bit too, so we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get going. 1:30 a.m., yeah, that is pretty hardcore. I have not stayed up that late in a while, except maybe at like a LEGO convention. Alright, looks like it's 7:30. Means it's time for us to get started. So welcome again. Black 6 from BZPower here. And tonight we're going to be starting to build this LEGO Creator Expert set. 10262, the James Bond Aston Martin DB5. A little under 1,300 pieces, retails for $150. Which seems a little odd because usually these Creator Expert sets have a better raw price per part ratio. I'm thinking one of the main things with this may be the fact that there's a lot of chrome elements. You can see the cones here, macaroni pieces, I guess not chrome, but the drum lacquers over metallic as opposed to just the plain flat silver. But yeah, this is the first LEGO James Bond 007 set. They announced they were doing that license. It was kind of odd for a lot of people, but I guess we'll see if there's anything else that comes out of this. You know, we could maybe get like that little auto gyro from that one with Sean Connery. And I'm sure there's plenty of other cars and vehicles they could turn into LEGO sets. But anyway, yeah, this is the front of the box, the Aston Martin. On the top, we can see that this is 13 inches long, 4.5 inches wide, 3.5 inches tall. So right at about in the same scale as like the Mustang or the Mini Cooper or the Beetle and all those. Looking on the back, you can see that this does have more play features than the usual Creator Expert car, which kind of makes sense based on what we've seen in the films. You know, James Bond, I guess not always, but eventually at some point James Bond became kind of like this gadget movie. I think with the Daniel Craig movies, it kind of got back to basics, but as they went through like the Sean Connery and especially the Pierce Brosnan, you know, there's always a lot of gadgets. So you can see that we've got like the bulletproof shield that pops up out of the back. There's an ejector seat. Let's see what else we got over here. You can use the shifter and like adjust the license plates or the headlights or something. The license plates do spin, so maybe that's all part of it. Is with the shifter, you can change the license plates so he can easily disguise himself, because, you know, an Aston Martin driving down the road is very unrecognizable. And then, yeah, you can see the trunk opens up. There's like a little compartment in the door here with a telephone. The hood opens up, so lots of details and play features, probably more so than, again, than most Creator Expert sets. So that's kind of cool. It'll be make it a little more fun to build. Oh yeah, the licensing probably has something to do with the increase in cost as well. I mean, I gotta imagine that, like, you know, they have to pay a licensing fee to Ford and Volkswagen for those Creator Expert sets as well. But maybe because this is James Bond in addition to Aston Martin, adds a little more. Hey there, Toe Pie. Are you failing at cooking because you're not cooking, or because you're doing a bad job of cooking? That is the question. Alright, so it looks like we got 4 numbers, but multiple bags per number. Only ever seen one James Bond film. I'm certainly no connoisseur of James Bond. I've seen, you know, a collection of them over the years. But I've definitely seen more than one, so that's pretty impressive. I have not seen any of the most recent ones. I saw Casino Royale, loved that, saw that several times. Saw Quantum of Solace, but I never saw Skyfall. So yeah, I'm a little behind on that. Alright, so here we've got our sticker sheet. You can see all of the license plates and then some of the Aston Martin details, like a little radar screen. Kind of interesting that in a lot of the Creator Expert sets, they do give you multiple license plates, but that's so you can swap them out. In this case, I think we're going to be using all of them. I'm not sure what all these are references to. The JB007 one, though, I think that one's a bit of a dead giveaway. But I'm sure a lot of these others have meanings beyond that. Interesting thing, the instructions don't have a picture of the set on the front. They say building instructions are classified for my eyes only. Q branch, the project that has the set number in there. So yeah, pretty kind of nice packaging. It'll amps it up a little bit. So in addition to the number of bags, you also have the tires, which seem kind of small, but maybe that's just because I'm used to that big Technic truck we just built. Yeah, Casino Royale is definitely a good one to see. Alright, so yeah, just keeping up with that top secret classified MI6 idea. And then the most famous car in the world, I'm not sure about that, but okay. So apparently this was used in Goldfinger and Thunderball. And it reappeared in GoldenEye. And Tomorrow Never Dies, World Is Not Enough, and Casino Royale. So yeah, it's been in quite a few movies. Oh, that's right, yeah, Spectre I haven't seen either. So yeah, I'm quite a couple of James Bond movies behind. I was doing pretty good for a while. I saw most of the Pierce Brosnan ones and the first couple Daniel Craig, and then fell behind. And of course, going back, I have seen a few of the Sean Connery and some of the other ones on various TV marathons. So it looks like we're going a little bit into some history on James Bond and the Aston Martin itself. Get ready to build. So, lots of cool details. I always like kind of tell myself, hey, I'll go back and read all that cool stuff at the end when I'm done building. I never do. Hopefully you guys appreciate all the detail that goes with there, and that if you build a set like this, you'll read it, but sadly, that's usually not for me. I'd rather build and play with the set than do all this reading. It's going to be interesting. I said we're going to split this set up over 3 nights, and we have 4 bags. So we'll see how tonight goes. Maybe we'll do 1 and 2 tonight, and 3 tomorrow, and 4 on Sunday. Got a lot of Technic coming in early on here. Can see in our instructions, you know, we're going to start with the frame, then kind of build out the sides, the front, the interior, and then finally the top. Looking at it, the top, you know, bag 4 looks like it's probably going to be pretty quick, so maybe we'll do 1 tonight, 2 and 3 tomorrow, or 1 tonight, 2 tomorrow, 3 and 4, we'll see. Alright, so we're going to need, apparently, this guy. Curious to see what this is for, probably for one of the mechanisms. And I am also very excited to be back at numbered bags. I missed those so dearly after that tow truck. Where do you put my friction pins? Oh, there's another bag. Like, where's all my friction pins? Alright, so obviously we know 2 of Pi's favorite James Bond movies. Anyone else in the chat have a favorite? Since GoldenEye was definitely big, like it just kind of got timed right for me when I was a kid. That was probably going to be one of my favorites. But Casino Royale is also up there. I thought Daniel Craig did a fantastic job kind of bringing Bond back to basics, so to speak. So it's definitely a solid one. And yeah, unfortunately I don't think I can remember. Like I guess I've seen some of the Sean Connery ones, but I'm not sure like I've seen them enough that I could pick them out of a crowd, so to speak. Like I could say, oh yeah, I remember the one that has like the scuba diving battle, but I don't even remember the name of that film, so oops. I guess I didn't like it that much. But yeah, GoldenEye was definitely really good. The later Pierce Brosnan ones, though, they kind of got a little carried away. They played a bit too much with all the gadgets and stuff. I forget which one it was that had like him driving the invisible car. It's probably an Aston Martin through the ice castle. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Like, just saying that sounds so ridiculous. But GoldenEye, probably also one of the best movie tie-in video games of all time. I would be interested to hear if anyone has any better suggestions on a movie tie-in video game than GoldenEye. Not that it was necessarily an accurate tie-in to the story of the film, but it was an awesome game. Bringing like the first-person shooter genre to consoles in a way that worked fairly well. Although, don't try to go back and play GoldenEye for N64 these days, because man, get too used to having those 2 thumbsticks. thing. Alright, let's lock this in place and show off the start of whatever this is we're building. Okay, so this is going to be the shifter, it looks like. That triggers, I think, the ejection seat. So yeah, there we go. So you can see when we move this red lever moves back and forth. So that's it'll do something. Have to wait and see what that is. Ooh, missed our brick separator. Can never have enough brick separators. What else are you gonna do with empty pick-a-brick cups? Hi there, Dylana. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Dylana. Welcome, welcome. What else has been going on? Has everyone been keeping up with LEGO Masters? Our second episode was this week, and hopefully you saw earlier today on BZPower. We actually had the chance to interview the contestants who were eliminated. So that was a really fun experience, and it seems like that's going to be a kind of recurring thing that you know, the LEGO Masters team, along with LEGO, has worked out the details on, and hopefully we'll be keeping on doing that as we go through the season. Also tonight, earlier today, I had a very surreal experience where we also got to interview Will Arnett. So we have to go through that, and we'll probably be posting that sometime next week. But that was really awesome. He was great to talk to, very fun, very funny, kind, respectful. Definitely seemed like the real deal as far as like being a LEGO fan goes. So yeah, it was really awesome. Super excited to see him continue to host that show, and hopefully we return at some point as LEGO Batman if we get any more LEGO films, because I think he's kind of really cementing himself in the LEGO hobby and fandom for the better. Man, Topai, yeah, you gotta keep up. You gotta catch up now before you get too far behind. Let's see, is that on? Yep. But yeah, the show's definitely been a lot of fun. I think, as I said during our builds, during our tow truck build, you know, obviously I'm biased for Aaron, being a long time BZPower member that he is. I was thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I've known Aaron for like a decade or so now, like in person, probably even longer, based on whenever he first joined BZPower. So I'll be continuing to root for him, but I think, you know, 2 episodes in, we can already see who in my opinion, the top 3 teams are. Definitely top 4. There's a very clear top 4, and then the rest. And so we'll see how that keeps shaping up as the season goes on. Whether that is how it shakes out, or whether there's some upsets. And also, I'm sure we'll probably be posting about it on the BZPower front page. I feel like LEGO Masters is going to give us a lot of front page content for a while, but I know Aaron has been sharing some information, kind of like his own perspective on the builds that he and his partner did. So he has got his own blog that he's been posting about those builds for. So that's definitely something worth checking out. I haven't been able to read through all of it yet because I just found out earlier today. But I definitely plan on reading through those, and hopefully we'll share those out on BZPower. And if anyone knows where to find some of the other contestants on like social media and stuff, definitely let us know. Send in a tip at news@bzpower.com, because we'd love to share that, because all the contestants seem like great people. And talking to the people who were eliminated this week, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, but you know, they had nothing but good things to say about everyone else who was playing and competing. And you know, they were like, yeah, you know, couldn't root against anyone because they're all just so great people, such great people. And apparently they were like helping each other out and offering advice and stuff. So seems like it was a good, clean, fun show. Oh yeah, it is already done filming. It finished like before Christmas, so it is definitely heavily edited, because like I think the first build challenge, well, they had 15 hours, and the second one they had 11. So I mean, that's a lot of footage you have to cut down to get to an hour-long episode. So they did that well in advance of it airing. They may still be editing some of the later episodes. I'm not sure exactly how that process works, but it's all filmed. So all the contestants know who won, but obviously they're under NDAs, so they can't say that. But let's see what else about LEGO Masters. I do think they've been doing a pretty good job of kind of respecting our hobby, respecting like the LEGO hobby and the community and the fandom and all that. Like for example, in the second episode, you know, there's definitely some of the builders who are AFOLs and use AFOL terms such as snot, and so that got brought up at some point. And then Will Arnett does like this little aside where he's like, so you may think they're talking about boogers, but actually here's what snot is. And they, you know, showed an example and do this whole thing where they explain stud's not on top. And I thought that was really awesome that they did that, and I hope we see more of that as the show progresses. Kind of these little peeks behind the curtain into the AFOL community. It's especially nice because there have been other instances of like mainstream LEGO, or LEGO going mainstream with respect to AFOLs and it not really representing AFOLs very well. What was it? There was that one documentary that like they went to fan conventions and everything and like did all this filming, and then the end result was like, that didn't really capture, you know, what AFOLs are like. Alright, so here we're going. I'm not sure what this is, if this is just like the, no, okay, so yeah, I guess that is going to be some sort of feature there. And then yeah, we've got that still. But yeah, coming together. Not super clear on everything just yet. Let's get in there. And have I mentioned how happy I am to have numbered bags? And that I'm not spending the first, this first half hour just sorting. Definitely a lot of asymmetry in this build, which I'm a big fan of. I'll show off that a little bit right after we finish this step, I guess. Like, we started out pretty symmetric up here, but you can see like right here that this has got like the L tile with this little clip in here, and this side does not, and so it kind of acts as a channel for a little shifter here. And as we're getting to the sides here, these are very asymmetrical. And then in the back here also, it's there's definitely some symmetry to it, but it's not perfectly symmetric, which is nice because it keeps the build a lot more interesting. Keeps you on your toes a little bit. So I actually have to make sure I pay close attention to the instructions, which you all know I'm not necessarily always the best at. Yeah, the steering wheel should definitely be on the right-hand side. I would expect it to be. I'm trying to remember if the Volkswagen Beetle or the Mini Cooper were right-hand drive. I feel like I should remember that, but it's not sticking out very well in my memory. There's certainly vehicles that are sold in Europe where they have right-hand drive, but I don't remember if they were or not. Rare orange piece going into the build here. Exactly the color you'd expect to find in James Bond's Aston Martin. So we got some of our first drum lacquered silver parts. So there's just like the one module Technic beam, or call it like the Technic bushing, pin bushing, something like that. I'm sure it has several names, but they're lovely drum lacquered. We don't get chrome anymore, but these are still pretty beautiful in all of their shiny glory. Much more shiny than like the silver that we got frequently in Bionicle. Well, speaking of Bionicle, I think probably a lot of you have seen Christian Faber rousing some rabble on the internet today, on his Instagram, and I'm sure other places on social media. Alright, sorry, let me just make sure I just put this in the right way. So interesting, so we just built this, and they're just kind of floating in here. So I assume it's, so we have these Technic pins with the little ball joints, the mixel size balls. So I'm assuming we're going to be putting like rubber bands on these, and then you'll be like pull back or something. That may be the mechanism for rotating the license plates. We'll have to see. No, okay. So apparently, I just needed to read the instructions. And this mechanism is going to be part of the ejector seat. It's going to be activated by pulling this section of the rear bumper. Nope. So I guess this was not for the ejector seat. That must be for the license plate, and then that's for the ejector seat. Good to know. All right, speaking of rubber bands. It's interesting that we're putting these on before we really lock this part in place. because as you can see, well, now you can see, like you try to keep it lined up and it keeps kind of jumping. So I'd have expected us to lock it into place by putting some plates across here first. But so you just got to be careful until that is good and locked in there. Which apparently is not going to be in this next step. I'm losing my rubber bands. Have a piece. See if I can just like temporarily. Nope. I lost a rubber band again. Like just need to put something temporarily here. We're gonna need this anytime soon. Alright, just put that plate there for now. Let's help keep it in place. Trying to see if we're locked in on our ejector seat mechanism, but not quite. The problem is we're building up on the sides here, just to the point where it'll be difficult to kind of reseat and get those rubber bands reattached if they happen to pop off. Alright, so I think this whole contraption we just built is going to be a further part of that ejection seat mechanism. Alright, looks like finally, like 5 pages later, get to a point where we're going to lock in that mechanism. definitely have some interesting Technic stuff going on here. Let's see now how this attaches onto there. Alright, so I think our mechanism is mostly locked in now. So yeah, you can see when we pull back on this guy, that little thing up here moves. I think that's going to be maybe what folds the roof back. But then there's this whole thing here, a bunch of Technic beams. It doesn't seem to quite do anything. We can see that it does flip up. Oh, I think you might have to like prime it, so to speak. If we put that beam, will it go down further? So it's like locked. Oh, there we go. So it's just kind of a force thing. So you pull this back, you can see that this stuff that pops right up. Let's see if we can do a close up there. So yeah, that's the start of our ejector seat mechanism. Definitely some warping going on in the back here. I'm guessing it's probably because of the rubber bands, but thankfully we have this plate across now that'll help keep things separated properly. So I think this is working on the roof mechanism a little bit. Yeah, so you can see now Now when we pull back, we just added this Technic contraption on the top, and that goes back, and then the seat goes up. Alright, it's looking like, just based on time alone, we're probably not really going to get into bag 2 tonight. I think if we do have time, we'll probably open up bag 2 and sort the parts out, so tomorrow we are ready to go. Alright, made it to the last step on bag 1. Yeah, we do still have like over 10 minutes left before our hour has expired, so we'll keep going. We do still have a giveaway to do tonight. Alright, so that is it for bag 1. Still got this thing kind of hanging off to the side here. Not sure what that's going to be for. Yeah. So that's cool. So as you pull back, you can see that the thing that's going to pull the roof back goes back. But it's not until you let it go forward that the seat is going to eject. And now that we have more built up, you can see it doesn't go all the way up like it used to, but hopefully you can see, let's try to do a head-on shot. You can see that flips up pretty fast. All right, open up our bag number 2. We'll see a lot more Technic in this one. So we've got our second drum lacquered silver part. Good old macaroni elbow Technic coupler. One of the cool things with the redesign that they did a few years ago is that it now has an axle hole in there, but that axle connector is inset, so you can still fit a stud in there if you want. So previously it was either a stud or a Technic pin, and now it is a stud or a Technic axle. Now we've also got some 1x1 cones in the drum lacquer. And then some 1x1 round plates as well. I don't know offhand how many of these are exclusive to the set. I know probably quite a few of them were in the Voltron Idea set. I know that had quite a bit of drum lacquer silver in it. I don't know if those Technic pieces were in there. Alright, so I think this is part of the rear bumper that we just assembled with all this drum lacquer on it, because that is now getting attached back there. And you can see that that lines up pretty good with the silver things from our ejector seat mechanism. Now we get to pretty much do that all over again. There's our bumper for the other side. So already we're starting to get some finished set details. Those will be very visible on the outside. All right, got about 6 minutes left for tonight. Normally I'm not going to be so picky watching the clock there, but I did say I would go for like at least an hour. I don't want to like get too far ahead tonight. I also want to make sure that it doesn't take me extra time on tomorrow or Sunday. So I figured if I said I was going to do an hour, I should do at least an hour tonight. Alright, so just built this little sub-assembly here. I think this is going to be the back passenger, I guess driver side quarter panel. And it's interesting that it has these two clips on here. I don't think that they're attaching. Yeah, there's not clipping to anything just yet. But they're back there, so presumably there's going to be something that's going to attach to them at some point. Alright, now I got to do the similar but different assembly for the other side. I think that will be where we call it a night tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and put up our giveaway link. Boop. If you have not had a chance to enter yet, go ahead, do that now. A reminder for those of you who weren't here earlier, we will be using the same giveaway list for all 3 of our streams of this set this weekend. So today, tomorrow, Sunday. So if you enter tonight and you don't win, you don't have to worry about entering the rest of the weekend. If you enter tonight and you do win, you will not be winning again the rest of the weekend. So make sure we spread the prizes around. Everyone's got a shot at something. And even if you can't make it to all 3, you still have a shot of winning multiple times. Alright, here's our quarter panel for the other side. Gotta make sure I flip this up. Thank you, instructions, for reminding me before we put that into place. Yeah, so still trying to figure out what this little guy's gonna do. Clearly some mechanism for something. But it'll have to wait until next time, because it is just after 8:30. So take a quick look again at what we've done tonight. Can definitely tell that it is going to be a car. Got spots for the wheels, and even the rear wheel arch is pretty well fleshed out there. Got our gear shifter, and it's going to do something up here. Probably change the license plate. And then the big thing we've got is our ejector seat mechanism. So you can see it will pull back the convertible roof and then eject the passenger seat, which will be on the left, since this is a British car, right-hand drive. And that seems like it's going to be a lot of fun, really satisfying to do. Alright, so with with all that said, let's see who our winner for tonight is going to be. Dylana, congratulations, you've won a Han Solo buildable figure. So we'll be getting in touch. We'll get you that prize. And congrats. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Again, we'll be back tomorrow night, again at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and then on Sunday to finish it up, also at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, I'm trying to get a kind of consistent schedule. I can maybe do an hour a night, 4 nights a week, 3 or 4 nights a week, depending on the week. Mix this up with some video games, and it's going to be kind of what I'm trying to go for. Welcome your feedback on it, and yeah, until next time, have a good night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. How about that? Take care, everyone.